3 or 4 blocks from here, not that far. We're not far from midfield over at Stokes Field for MUS and that big game tonight. Drew Barrett with me. We just talked to Dave, who's on the road with the Tigers. Gabe Kuhn back in our studios. You're listening to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats and Gabe and Drew on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7 and 96.1.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet.
Are we streaming?
Our official Sports 56 app today.
Listen up. If you're a parent or a young man looking for a
How's
sport
the
that
stream,
will change
Gabe?
your life, I want you to consider wrestling.
Back to normal.
This is a
Okay,
good sport
I
that
got up,
develops
turned it off, and
integrity,
turned it back on. It
discipline, a
seems to
strong
be the
work
magic
ethic,
thing
and a
and
fitness
everything.
level that will last you a lifetime. That's where the
Greg
Learner's
Eli
Craft
was
is an elite
Yeah.
wrestling academy on
My
Highway
mother,
64
no big
in
deal.
Buffalo. It's located in
She
the
said
Memphis
pneumonia,
Judo
had a day or two
Jiu-Jitsu
in the
Club.
hospital.
Or you
Her
can
TV
call
was
them
out
at
when I got there one morning this week.
901-870-7275.
That's why the TV's on. She said, well,
Look
it's
them up
out.
on Facebook
I
at
said,
Elite Wrestling
I know the
Academy.
trick here.
They're the top
Got up on a
coaches
chair,
in the game in
unplugged,
Memphis,
and
led
plugged
by
it back
Chris
in. It was
Douglas and
fine.
Jeremy
It always
Gillies.
works.
The ratio
How
is
many
never
years
more
will
than
we
4 to
pay
1 wrestlers
repair
to a
people?
coach, and they have
And all they
3
did is come
All-Americans,
out and
3 state
unplug
champions,
stuff.
and 3 wrestlers
Probably
from
way
the
too many.
national team.
And big
This is a
feet.
youth
Yeah,
wrestling
for
program
stuff.
for ages 1st grade through 8th.
All right,
And
Gabe,
there's a
I'm
theater
about
program
to-
for all
I gotta-
Memphis
I gotta-
high schools.
I gotta run to
If
the
you're
restroom real
interested,
quick.
you're invited to stop by, see the place, and you get a free week just to see if you like it. The boys practice.
Hey, how much
5:30
time
to
we have in this
7:30
break?
Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Presidents and CEOs and NFL players love wrestling. Come
Y'all
see
got 2.5
why at
minutes left.
Elite
2.5?
Wrestling
Okay.
Academy. There's a new commissary in town in Collierville. Germantown Commissary is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown Commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown Commissary in Collierville at Poplar and
Hey,
Houston
Coach
Road.
Rogers
It's
is there
huge,
with
too.
you guys, right?
There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking, no telephone pole to get in your way, a cool patio. It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary.
No matter what your past credit, no matter how much you owe on your trade, no matter if you tried to buy at another dealer and were turned down, Sunrise Buick GMC can get you financed. There's never been a better time to trade. Sunrise has hundreds of new vehicles and over $5 million in used car inventory, specializing in cars and trucks under $10,000. Sunrise has the lowest prices and will not be undersold. Bad credit, bankrupt, slow pay. Sunrise gets you financed when no one else can. Check out the inventory and apply online at sunrisememphis.com. The November blowout sale going on now at all Sunrise locations. Covington Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville.
Edwin Watts Golf Shops has moved to our new location down the street, and to celebrate our grand opening, Edwin Watts is having its biggest sale of the year. This Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, save 20% off everything in stock. Yes, 20% off everything in every department. Clubs, bags, shoes, balls, accessories, apparel, and more. Don't miss the Edwin Watts grand opening 20% off sale happening this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in our new location in the Ridgeway Trace Shopping Center. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Sales excludes Bing and Scotty Cameron. Some other manufacturer restrictions may apply. See store for details.
Farmers Insurance knows that when you're in the car and that song comes on, yes, that's the one, you have no choice but to pull out your imaginary drumsticks and smash those cymbals and stomp on that kick pedal, which unfortunately is the accelerator pedal. And we covered it. Talk to a farmer's agent who knows a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at memphisfarmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Lights are hot.
We're at Edwin Watts at 5895 Poplar in the Ridgeway Trace Center, their new location, and you need to come by. You have about an hour to register for all the great giveaways, including the Titleist Pro V1s. We're giving away 3 dozen of Pro V1s, 2 $25 gift certificates good for here at Edwin Watts, and this Callaway Tour bag that is some kind of good looking. You walk up to the first tee with that, it's worth about 4 strokes right there. The guy you're playing, he's going to make you give. You're going to have to give away strokes if you're playing him. Come by and see us. We're at 5895 Poplar in the new location for Edwin Watts Golf. We talk high school football at this time every Friday. Glenn Rogers with us from the coaching staff at MUS. And sometimes you don't mind a rematch in the playoffs, do you, Glenn Rogers?
Absolutely. And good afternoon, all our listeners. You're right. Stats, looking forward to this ball game. We lost to them early in the season. We feel like we let one slip away. And so, sometimes you got to be careful what you ask for. But, we really want this ball game.
17-14 crusher up there against them. What did you
really, it was down here.
Oh, I'm sorry. What did you learn from that game? It was first thing Monday afternoon on the practice fields. We cannot repeat.
Yeah, well, we tackling on defense. We missed a lot of tackles, and offensively we turned the ball over. We threw 3 interceptions. We dropped some key passes. We dropped a touchdown with about 55 seconds to go in the game with our best receiver. So we learned, and I think our kids came into that ball game, and we took them lightly because they were 0-3. But they were the best 0-3 team we had seen all year.
And the winner plays for it all, don't they?
Absolutely. The winner of this game goes on to Cookeville to play for the state championship.
And this is what all that sweat in August and all that offseason was about, wasn't it?
Exactly. It's weird you say that because that's the first thing that comes to mind. And,
sure.
You start in January. And building up this point of the season, and that's what all this stuff culminates to this time of the year.
I've said, I think in basketball around conference tournament times and certainly at NCAA tournament times, that's when the tears really flow. But in high school football, you see it because for 99% of them,
absolutely,
that's the last time they're putting on shoulder pads in their life.
In their whole life, and you're right. Stats. Usually when that last ball game or that last playoff loss, most of these guys, like you said, 90% of them, over 95% of them, it's over with. And so that'll be the last time they suit up and perform in front of a crowd like that on the football field. And you want to sing your seniors out right.
And even for those that might, and y'all have plenty, and NBA will have some as well, that go on and play college football, and who knows, heck, I hope so, 1 or 2 someday we see on TV. I promise you, any interview you've ever seen of Eli Manning, you can ask him most dejecting loss ever. And, all of us at Ole Miss persuasion, we're thinking, he's going to say 2003 LSU and Oxford. He goes to a high school playoff game and will always go to just gave that game away and crushing loss, and everybody, cried like babies afterwards.
And you're right. A lot of these guys, these college and pro guys, when you talk to a bunch of them stats, like even myself, my fondest memories, and I'm not refuting college or pro, but when high school football day is just something special about Friday night lights and bonding with your teammates and just doing silly things in the locker room. The guys never forget that.
With it being win or go home at this point, like Brett said, 99% of these guys will never put on another helmet again in their life. That's a lot of emotion. So as a coach, how do you keep that emotion in check to where it doesn't get the better of them and ultimately may cost you the game?
Yeah, you just try to make sure the guys stick to what they do best, stick to the game plan. Most of the kids, they know their strengths, they know their weaknesses, so we try to tell them, hey, look, let's do what you do best. Don't get out of your comfort zone. Don't try to overthink it, and don't try to do somebody else's job. Do your job. So that's the one thing we hamper on throughout the week. Do your job.
I know the fan in you, and Glenn, you are a football fan. You love it.
Absolutely.
If you could, you'd go to about 4 different games around town tonight if you didn't have duties tonight with MUS, and a good one is Whitehaven and Houston.
Absolutely. I said this the other day. This is one of the games as a football guy and as a fan, this is a game you want to see. You got 3 commits to UT on defense, and then you got the young man that's at tailback for Houston and the big offensive line. This is a game where the willpower, somebody's will going to get tested tonight.
And Lincoln Perry can really show the remaining, I don't know if it's doubters or skeptics. I think most people are concentrating on his size. I concentrate on that stat line.
Absolutely. And you're right, stats. College coaches look at these guys and they look at their frame and they say, well, he's too little, he's too short. You can't measure a kid you can't measure his heart. And this young man has shown year after year, time after time, that he's got the heart and the willpower to run the football on anybody. And he'll get looking at this and see how he does against a Division I caliber talent.
Now, look, I know some places, Ohio, the biggest of the big boys, they can do it. They pick and choose, Alabama, Ohio State, USC, Texas by and large. But I think a lot of the rest of us maybe go into things with too many twos. He's too this, he's too that, instead of just saying, well, look at what he's done.
Look at what he's doing, exactly. And, you're right. Some of these coaches, they got too many questions about what he can and can't do, or his size, his height. But look at what the young man's been doing. He's been producing every year against quality talent. And he'll be on showcase tonight against 3 quality linebackers.
Yeah, that's definitely, I think, besides y'all with NBA, is probably the two best playoff matchups in the city of Memphis. Obviously, I asked you last week about Starkville and Horn Lake. Starkville was able to get the revenge game from last year's playoff. Now facing the OB down in Starkville. Starkville seems like the team of destiny at this point. They're just rolling 11-2 so far in the season. OB, did they got a shot tonight?
Oh, absolutely. Olive Branch, young coach, I think this is his third season down there. He's building something special. You can see the kids responding to him and his coaching staff, and you like to see what he's doing now. He's like last year, he didn't lose a ball game. He got deep in the playoffs, and this year he's deep into the second round. And so, hats off to Olive Branch and the entire staff and the community down there. Hopefully, they can keep it rolling.
That game in Starkville tonight, the Conquistadors and the Starkville Yellow Jackets. Let's give some love to West Memphis tonight. In Left Mempho, the Blue Devils against Lake Hamilton tonight.
Yeah, and what a game. West Memphis, Arkansas. I had a former teammate, James White, played at West Memphis. So, it's real interesting to see that football program coming back to life. And, you just feel good for that community, for the young man and the coaching staff on that team. Fairleigh on the road at Peabody, 10-2 Fairleigh against undefeated Peabody. Oh, no, and Gene Robinson, the Fairleigh coach, Whitehaven graduate, what a story, stats. 10-2, he lost to us and lost to Hernando, I'm sorry, and Gene Robinson, with those losses. Yes, Gene Robinson and his staff has done an amazing job with their kids and the talent. They got a very, very talented tailback who does a little bit of everything for them, and hopefully they get a victory tonight and keep rolling. There was one Friday during the year, and I said it in a nice way. I said, well, Lausanne's learning how to live the year after and life after Eric Gray. Yeah. You said, slow down just a little bit. Don't count them out yet, because we know what Coach LeCastro does week over week. And look at him tonight, 7-4 against 11-1 ECS, and they're hitting their stride at the time you should. Absolutely. And, Kevin's always done an amazing job, him and his staff, when replacing a kid like Eric Gray. And then what about Trey Adams and Scott Vogel over at ECS? Tremendous job. They lost their coach last year. Jonas Rodriguez went back up to the Nashville area. And Trey Adams and his staff has done an amazing job. And they got an exciting tailback as well. Mm-hmm. And Jalen Greenwood, he's a guy that can, if he's got a crease, he's going to the house because he's a speedster.
I'm gonna ask you the question, and I know I'm probably gonna get pure coach speak, but I'm not from Coach Rogers. I don't have the bracket in front of me. So what is the other semifinals game that you would be playing in the championship if you beat NBA tonight, and which one would you rather face? That's the coach question I'm gonna ask.
We got the winner between McCallie and Innsworth, and obviously we hadn't beaten Innsworth since they've been in our league, and so. That kind of sticks in the back of your mind. But then, McCallie, they're great, good team, solid tailback, a big Division I defensive end. I think that's committed to Auburn. Mm-hmm. And so, whoever we face at this point, it doesn't matter. But
that's the coach's answer. I thought I was going to get.
We hadn't beat Innsworth, so in the back of my mind, I like to see Innsworth.
Okay.
He answered you.
Yeah. He did, but he started with the coach pick. It doesn't matter who we play.
We talk high school football at this time all during the football season. Started way back in August, and we didn't think it'd ever be another cool day again, just blast furnace weather. And we always get to this point in the year, Glenn, and it takes a lot of work. And for those youngsters that put in that work back in those hot days, tonight's the reward, but tonight's also ball security night.
Exactly. It's wet. The conditions are wet. The weather's is cold outside. So ball security has been a big issue with us all week with Coach Austin and the backs and the receivers. And then you don't want to put on too much clothing. As the adrenaline get going with these players, we try to tell them, you're going to be hot when that blood gets to flowing in the floor of the game. And so we tell our skilled guys we don't need all those clothes on. We need to be able to move and execute without all those sleeves on the arms.
And you can get too darn hot.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because it's a cool night, but it's not like it's been the last few weeks. But it's a great night for playoff football.
And this is a man that played in the CFL.
Absolutely.
We can't tell him anything about
Can't say anything about cold.
What was the single coldest practice or game?
Well, we were getting ready to play Calgary in the Western semifinals in 1993. My first year in the CFL, and it was -20 at practice most of the week. And
we don't even need a wind chill.
It was snowing, but our grass field was completely the snow was completely cleared off by the snow blowers, and I just couldn't believe we was practicing. I called in one day. I said, "Are we practicing this?" They said, "Absolutely. You better get your butt here."
I can't remember who the receiver was just a few years ago from Clemson that went to Buffalo, and he's from South Carolina. What was it? Was it Sammy Watkins?
Maybe Sammy Watkins.
Sammy Watkins.
Sammy Watkins. And Buffalo had, for them, a freak Halloween, late October, like 22-inch snow. He had never seen a snowflake in his life, and he was capturing all on Instagram and Twitter and going, where am I, the North Pole?
I've seen that with a lot of guys. Especially playing in Canada, you got a lot of guys from down south and, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, never seen snow before, and they see that type of snow up there. It's mind-blowing because it's snowing up there and it's frigid cold.
And it's why what Condrich Holloway did in the CFL, of course, what Warren Moon did.
Warren Moon, exactly.
But it's why my biggest thing, Doug Flutie should be in Canton because it's the Pro Football Hall of Fame, USFL, CFL, NFL, any weather, any time of year, he performs.
Exactly. And, it's Grey Cup week up in Canada. The Hamilton Tiger Cats taking on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And, hats off to those two coaches, Mike O'Shea, who I played against with the Toronto Argonauts, and Orlando Steinhauer, the coach of the year in Hamilton. That's right. And so,